Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the 34th Annual Peer Mediation Conference, Ventures in Peer Mediation. The Peer Mediation Conference has been bringing together youth peer mediators ages 8 to 18 years old for over 30 years. This is the first year the conference has gone virtual to connect peer mediators around Hawaii and others aspiring to develop their own peer mediation programs. My name is Jose Barzola from the Matsunaga Institute for Peace at the University of Hawaii at Manoa. This year's Peer Mediation Conference is brought to you as a collaborative of 22 different organizations from around Hawaii that support this conference that is spread out throughout the month of April. The Peer Mediation Conference consists of an opening panel, 16 skill workshops, and a closing panel. You can definitely learn more about all the events at matsunagainstitute.eventbrite.com. Today's event will focus on a skill workshop on how to reduce anxiety in the time of COVID-19 with Eleanor Tatafu, Christina Pacheco, and Shelly Andrews from the Kailua High School Peer Mediators, as well as the actual advisors for the program. So it's quite a treat to have you all here. Thank you again for joining us to learn about peer mediation skills. The Kailua High School Peer Mediators will discuss what to do to support each other during the anxiety that COVID-19 has definitely brought on. And to get us started, I'm going to turn it over to Christina.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming. Appreciate all of you guys making the time of day to come listen to our presentation. So I'm actually going to send a link for our presentation. It's going to be a Jamboard. So when I send the link, go ahead and pull it up so that way you guys have access and everything is ready before we get started, okay? And then I will share my screen. Okay, there we go. That's the link for our Jamboard. Oops. All right, so let me introduce myself. I am Christina Pacheco. I'm a counseling intern at Kailua High School. I'm actually counseling under Mrs. Andrews, who's the 504 counselor at the high school. And I'm gonna be presenting with Ms. Eleanor. Eleanor, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Aloha, I'm Eleanor Tatafu. I am one of Miss Shelly Andrews' students, her prep students. And yeah, thank you.
All right. Okay, so for our presentation today, we are going to be talking about how to reduce anxiety in the time of COVID-19. So now that you guys have the Jamboard open with the following link, the first slide on the Jamboard actually presents us with a question. So the question that it presents us with is, what are some reasons you guys came to this workshop today? So just a little snippet for those of you who have never used Jamboard. If you guys have it up on the side, actually, let me share my Jamboard so that way you guys can see what I'm doing. And then I'll go back to the presentation. Okay, so this is what the Jamboard looks like. As you can see, there's the pen, there's the eraser, but today we're mostly just going to be using the sticky notes. So you can go ahead, answer the question like someone already did, and just write what some reasons you guys all came to the presentation for today, okay? And then you just type it in. So because I don't know if I can edit it, you would just press save and then it should post. So someone already put peer mediation fits well with our grant program goals and I'm hoping to implement them. Okay, so go ahead, take a moment to answer the question, post it with a post-it note. You guys don't need to put your names or initials. You can leave it anonymous, whatever you guys feel most comfortable with. All right, I'm gonna present my next. As you guys are answering those questions, I'm going to actually get the next slide ready, okay? All right, I see someone said, I'm hoping to learn about how to help my students through challenging times and maybe even support my peers and family and myself too. Yes, this topic I think is very relatable. It's a great topic that the kids chose and to help service my students who are struggling with this. It's very relevant, especially with the high schoolers with such big changes. Okay, so if you guys didn't go ahead and post a post-it note, that's okay. We are actually going to just go ahead and move on. There's a bunch of different questions you guys can contribute to. You don't have to contribute to all. So Eleanor, go ahead and read the question on the next slide.
If you would like to follow along with the presentation, you can go to the Kailua High School peereducation.com link. And also you can scroll down to the bottom and choose anxiety workbook for teens. Please go to chapter 3. And also I recommend to please grab blank piece of paper and some colored pencils or crayons. And also do not forget to use a Jamboard to give us your inputs. To the next slide for directions. Shade in the pictures of the floating clouds below with the pale blue crayon or another light color. The clouds represent your natural state of peace. Then take a few minutes to sit quietly, breathe slowly, look at the peaceful clouds, and feel a deep relaxation within you. You can do this on the Jamboard. So yeah. And then just answer the following question: how did the coloring the clouds and taking a few minutes to breathe quietly and slowly helping, how did that like, and slowly help or not help you feel calm?
Thank you.
If you want to, you can also color. This is one of the ones we colored from last time.
Yes. I do know that I don't know if you guys have crayons, or you guys can just use your pens, or, you know, you can answer the question, whatever is most flexible for you guys. I know we didn't really, you know, provide those materials for you guys ahead of time, but I'm sure you guys have heard of the adult coloring books. It's the same concept, right? So if you're thinking of anxiety, obviously, that was one of the techniques that a lot of people have been using for self-care and for ways to just help control their breathing, to sit there quietly, to not really get in their head, because a lot of anxiety is that built up worriness and that, you know, increased heart rate and butterflies in your stomach, all the different symptoms that, you know, can be from your anxiety level. So having some time to just kind of color and not really think about everything and just really focusing on like the different colors you want to use. A lot of the students gave feedback that it was a really fun activity that they enjoyed, that they would recommend with their, you know, to their friends. So it was a big hit with the kids that we actually worked with, the high school students. Okay, so let's see. Someone on the Jamboard wrote, it gave me a chance to focus on something else. I was able to let myself just be in the moment. I like the drawing, blue clouds, a yellow sun, very artistic. I would give it an A+. Okay. Let's see. Can the text be enlarged? Whoa. I don't know if I can zoom in. Are you talking about on the Jamboard? Sorry. Reshare the Jamboard. Yes. Sorry, I'm looking at the chat, you guys.
I will take care of resharing the Jamboard.
Okay, thank you so much, Jose. Okay, cool. So I don't know if I can enlarge the text for like my presentation. I don't know if I can zoom in. Let me try. Oop, that didn't work.
Also, all of this is on the website too. So if they want to make copies or.
Similar to other presentations, I will send out PDFs versions of the presentations, so you'll be able to review them later on as well as a recording of the event.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, so we're going to be moving on, even if you didn't finish coloring or if you didn't finish posting. I see a post on top of the Jamboard. We're going to move on to the next part where it talks a little bit more about, you know, what the techniques are. So inside the anxiety handbook that Eleanor posted it's on the website, and it's actually a teen book, and it has very different chapters. The chapter 4 talks about prevention and intervention. So it says for you to know, there are 2 ways to work on managing anxiety. The first is by practicing prevention, which means that you spend time doing relaxation techniques on a regular basis to keep your everyday anxiety at a low level. The second is by practicing intervention. At the time you feel your anxiety level rising, you perform a relaxation technique to help you calm down and manage the current situation. So some people don't understand why they should practice their relaxation techniques before they're feeling anxious. To help you understand why it's a good idea, think about your teeth. Do you wait until you have a cavity to start brushing your teeth? No, most of us brush our teeth every day because it helps prevent cavities from forming. It is the same concept with anxiety. If you practice relaxation techniques every day, you can better prevent anxiety from forming. Some of the relaxation techniques you will learn in this book are used for prevention before you feel the anxiety, but some are also used for intervention at the moment you feel anxiety onsetting. Many of the techniques can be used at both times. It is important to remember that the more you practice the techniques as prevention, the better you'll be able to use them for intervention. Okie dokie.
And then on the next slide, the next coming up slides, the students of our PC group, they created a mixtape playlist that we talked about, that also listening to music can also help to reduce anxiety. So some of the students just put some of their favorite songs that help them even like do anxiety. But it's not just only listening to music, creating like a music playlist. You can also do self-care, or just writing, taking a shower, or just whatever makes you feel better. And then on the Jamboard, listening to music is one way to reduce anxiety. Do you have a favorite song that you play to help you feel better? And then what is it? And if you have the time, just please answer on the Jamboard. And yeah, these are just some examples of the students' favorite songs that they listen to help them reduce anxiety.
Thank you, Eleanor. Okay, so I see a bunch of different songs that are being posted. It's a great way. A lot of the kids sent in different variety of songs, so you can obviously see the different genres that they were interested in. It's in another technique that is found to help with anxiety. Same with meditation, same with journaling, like how Eleanor was talking about, same with the deep breathing exercises, right? So deep breathing, you can do it when you're driving. It doesn't only have to be just sitting in one spot. You can do it, as you're doing other things in your day, because I know some people are really busy. So try to incorporate some technique that works for you. And then, like we talked about, practicing it every day, making it a habit. That way, when you do feel in the moment that your anxiety levels are going to onset, you can actually use that as an intervention. Okay, so this is kind of a snippet of how we use the different techniques to help our kiddos cope with the changes from the COVID-19, giving them the resources and the tools that they need in order to move forward with the current situation, the current pandemic, right? So, we obviously took into consideration everything that was changing with school, with just, functioning of reality right now, and how can we help our students, give them the resources, give them the techniques, give them the support, the services that they need in order to succeed and to feel safe and included. Okay, so on the Jamboard for our very last slide before we conclude things, it has a question. The question, if you find it on slide 5, it says, did you learn anything new today, or were you reminded of something that you already knew on how to reduce your anxiety? If you guys want, you guys can go ahead and post a Post-it note on the different ways that you maybe knew and that we didn't talk about, different techniques on how you guys reduce your anxiety. Other than that, I really love to see your guys' answers. And like Jose said, everything will be sent through a PDF file, correct?
Correct.
Perfect. Good. I see self-care is a great answer. I was reminded, wait, it moved. I was reminded to be present in the moment, and it helps me to de-stress. Nice. Easy to forget about music. Thanks for the reminder. Perfect. These are great ways, great responses. Mahalo. I was reminded of how much I love coloring to relax. I find it being in nature very helpful. Yes, hiking is also great, especially here in Hawaii. And looking for the sky, mindfulness, and living in the moment. Great answers.
I'm just thinking of the hiking part, and when we're not sorry, this is Shelly Andrews. I'm actually at the high school right now, but when we're not, when we're able to be together, we actually do hiking as a form of self-care. It's an excursion that we'll do. So we've gone to like Monowilly Falls, for instance, and Olamana and done the Pillbox Trail, just so that kids could kind of relax and de-stress.
Okay, that is all I have to present for you guys. Eleanor, why don't you go ahead? Do you have anything you want to add?
No, that's all I have. Just want to thank you all for joining and listening to our presentation. Mahalo.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
I don't know. So sorry, Eleanor. Do you mind if I put you on the spot? Because I know you were in girls group last year, which is what this is, the PC group. Do you mind sharing like one of our classes that you liked, or even one of the excursions we did? I know we went to the movies a couple of times. We did a couple of things. I don't know if you want to tell them about your favorite thing that you got to do in group.
Of course, yes. Honestly, the first year of high school is really rough. And Aloha, which was one of Miss Shelley's former students, she introduced to me and also the other girls of her friends that to join, just because like it helps you with stress and everything. And I joined. I can say that it was one of the many things that I was blessed with, an opportunity like that. The field trips and everything like that. Miss Shelley understood that we needed just time for ourselves and just self-care. So those field trips, they really did help us. And then just learning to like communicate as one and listening to others was a much needed thing for us. We just needed someone to listen to our problems. And yeah, I recommend if you are coming to Carlo High School that you join Miss Shelley's prep little class. It's really nice and you will really benefit from it. Thank you.
Thanks, Eleanor and Christina and everybody that came. Please let us know if you have questions. We will also have the link to our peer education program website too as well, I think, in the HyperDoc. Does anybody else have any other questions or anything?
Well, if any questions do arise later on, please feel free. You can just email them back to me when I reach out to you all with follow-up of this information. And I'm happy to connect you all with our speaker today. But I do just want to share a couple words. Thank you so much for, thank you, Ella, Shelley, and Christina for providing these amazing skills workshops and for sharing your upcoming skills definitely further on throughout the month of April. I appreciate your insights into peer mediation, your approach as peace builders and conflict resolvers, but most of all, your passion and kindness in all that you do. Thank you. And last but not least, thank you all for joining today's webinar. We deeply appreciate your interest and support in joining us to learn about peer mediation programs throughout Hawaii at the 34th Annual Peer Mediation Conference themed Adventures in Peer Mediation. And as a friendly reminder, we still have 50 more of these events left in the conference. So please do register at matsunaga.eventbrite.com. And thank you again, everybody. Look forward to seeing you at future events.